Yeah, I mean nothing too extreme. So I haven't done any of the hardcore stuff either, where I'm cutting myself open or anything like that. So
Sometimes it has to be that way. Let's see. uh,
make his own pudding. How's that? That's good.
oh God, they bring it with the pudding thing again. They was talking about this ever since this show been started.
Brings the pudding. He'll bring the tapioca.
God, they will do a pudding match. If that's, I will watch it, but I don't know who it would be. I'll just laugh the whole time. Let's move on. Uh, who will you be wrestling in the near future? Well, wrestling for.
If pretty much just gonna be sticking with Fusion, and if SSW does start back up or run Summer Series, it'll just be them mainly. So yeah, I don't have any plans nor any interest really in wrestling for anybody else. Like if it, well, obviously SWE is starting up as well.
Right.
Excuse me, and I told them that I'd help them out and I work a couple of their shows, but you know, obviously physical condition pending, you know. But
It all depends how you are at that moment.
yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want to sound like a big baby, but you know, I'm not gonna risk injuring myself more, you know, than I already could be. I don't know. But pretty much, if I'm gonna be wrestling, it's gonna be with people I trust and my friends. That simple.
Okay. Since you did mention SWE and you are like on the roster,
That's
what?
a terrible picture they used for me too.
Well, I guess ain't nobody picking at it yet. So,
Oh God.
what would you expect when you go into SWE?
Probably the way that really Chris, I believe Will is running that as well. I'm not sure about that, but I know they're the main power players in that. I would expect really professional business. I trust those people to run a legitimate show where it's not going to be you have to worry about that guy because he's going to stick a fork in you or something, you know. And I think they're not going to use people that are untrustworthy.
Yeah,
So
I get what you're saying with that. Let's see what else. Have you ever considered being a manager? And would you be like a good counter to Vic the Stick Ross, who's also a manager?
I have thought about doing the managing role, and that'll probably be my role down the road someday. As a counter to Vic, I don't think anybody can really counter Vic. He's it's a lot to counter. It's a big booming voice and a lot of charisma and a lot of quick thinking on your feet. But yeah, I mean, I would love to manage, especially with like a younger guy who really can't talk. I think that would be my role is helping out someone who's not very good on the mic. You know, granted, unfortunately, I'll probably be bigger than the guy, but you know, eh, you know, it's wrestling.
Right, because I guess some people are gonna need some mic skills. So,
Correct.
what more can you say? Another question. How hard it was to wrestle in SSW, and have you had any sunburns during the summer?
Oh, that sunburn. Yeah, that was terrible. I was on vacation in North Carolina, and unfortunately, I got a little too much sun, and I had just most horrendous sunburn you could think of, and I had to wrestle with that. And it went fine until the first segment where we got jumped, and I had a good portion of dead skin ripped off my shoulder by Kuba. So other than that, it was delightful.
Yeah, it will sound painful too. Let's see, another question. Who would you like to tag team with, and who would you like to go against? I guess that's a tag team.
As a tag team, I'm pretty pretty faithful to my tag team partner, Jack Spade, guaranteed to offend. We predate the two man boy band, but we had less homosexual overtones then. So, um, uh, really, I think like a good long feud with me and Spade against Prodigy and SSP, the New South. I think that would probably make some good matches. Um, I think that would probably be the one feud if I had to pick one right now. I think that would probably be it.
As a tag team.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, another question. What do you think Hazel versus Mae Young in a bikini match?
um, jeez, the Young's still alive, right?
Yeah, she's
Okay,
still
I'm
alive.
just checking.
Yes, she is.
I've been kind of. Oh, that's right. That was Moolah. I'm sorry.
Right.
That passed away. Hey, add some pudding. I'll make some money.
Oh god, I think I was.
Chris, you're sick, by the way. If you want a Bronco Buster from me,
Yeah, of course he would. Okay. In all your matches, what was the most hardcore that you had gotten in your matches?
uh, I mean, really chairs. I the most hardcore spot that I can think of that we did was I got rock bottomed onto a picnic table and we busted the picnic table.
Ooh.
Yeah, it hurt a little bit, but that was the match. Actually, I had the standing ovation, and that was the match. So we really kind of beat the hell out of each other. Me and Fate,
On a
Mr.
table.
John Fate. Yeah, that was we didn't plan for that. It just kind of
It
happened.
just happened. I can just imagine it too. That won't get out of my mind none too soon. Let's see. Okay, another question. Would you ever work for Seven Rivers Wrestling?
Honestly, I don't. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh yes, definitely. I really don't even know who that is. I would have to look at it, and see who runs it. Because I mean, that's the big thing is whoever runs it, and if you can trust them, you go from there.
Okay, that gives you
Sorry,
some.
that's not a very interesting answer, but
No, you don't know the company, which is understandable. So I can understand that. Let's see. Another question. Have you ever wrestled out of the state?
no, actually, I haven't. um, no, I, not that I can think of. I might have gone into Illinois once or twice. I'm just trying to think with SSW, with the Ryan Cross SSW. No, I don't think I have. No, never really even really thought of that. So
So yeah, that'll be
if I did, I worked very northern Illinois.
right, like close to the Chicago area, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really gone like a lot of guys. They go all in. They go Minnesota, Illinois, Kentucky. Everywhere. It's a hobby. I'm not gonna spend $300 in gas money to go make $20. I'd rather work my real job.
Yeah, I understand that.
Just being honest.
So yeah, just gotta stay around the state would be more helpful. Gotcha. Okay. Another question. Who's your favorite indie guy to work with? I think you probably mentioned this earlier, but just go ahead.
No. Obviously Jack Spade is one of my favorites. I like working with Prodigy. He's the reason Prodigy is called the Prodigy is he was my first pupil, I'll call him, and he just picked up everything so quickly. He became the Prodigy, and that's where his name came from. And I mean, he just everything so fast, so good, and with the scare with him, with his injury, I know he doesn't like it being very well publicized, but with his neck injury, it's just that was really traumatic at the time. I mean, it was a friend of mine who could have potentially died, and I felt responsible for it because I showed him wrestling, and just on a fluke he ended up hurting himself. It was it was a bad place to be in at the time, but luckily he learned from the experience too, and we all did. Obviously, everyone in the business that knows him too. He used to saying he was in the ladder match. He used to do really crazy stuff, but
Right.
he's always wrestled that way. Jim puts himself all in, and that's respectable. But at least everything turned out okay. So I mean, sorry, I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but
No, that's fine.
Prodigy, Jack Spade, really, those are my homies. So
I really gotta watch that match. I really do.
it's on YouTube. I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's probably on YouTube.
Y'all remind me to look that up because I really got to see that match.
Everything's on YouTube.
Which is true. Okay, another question. What's your opinion on most fads being in NWA?
I don't think it means a thing. I think it's just a little tagline to put in front of your Fed, and that's it. I think it would be. I think it's a vain attempt to use someone else's fame to promote your own Fed. I would rather be SSW or I'm sure sure Vic would rather be Fusion Pro Wrestling than NWA. I mean, it makes it look like it's not your product.
Okay.
Just my opinion.
Okay. Understand that. Another question. What is your relationship with Ryan Cross, and will you be working together in the near future?
Ryan Cross he's a good guy. He's a wrestler. He's a professional wrestler. I'll say that. Um, he's he can be a little exaggerative. I don't even know if that's a word. He exaggerates things sometimes, but in a business that's built around exaggeration,
Right.
um, I if we work with him, that's the ball's in his court. I mean, we had a good thing going, and he kind of, it more so was his not wanting to do it anymore than us. I mean, because we were making money doing the shows. Hey, it's the ball's in his court. I look at it that way. It's not ruling out, but if it happens, it'll be for him.
Yeah, so we'll probably see that in the near future. Let's see. There's another question. How did SSW get formed?
I like this question. SSW. At the time, I was working with Mike, and I'm not. I had a lot of heat with Mike for a long time, and really, it was kind of an unfortunate heat. It just started with there was some stuff going on in Powerhouse that I just really didn't like. There was a certain individual who was taking very just liberties with guys he's working with. He was being stiff as hell with them. He was just really abusing his position because he had a lot of influence with Mike. And I really haven't really told anybody this, so this is a exclusive here. And I just didn't like it. I tried voicing my opinion to Juicy Johnny. Well, I kind of subtly telling him what was going on, and I didn't want to be a part of it anymore because the guy took a 13-year-old kid who was the son of the owner of Cecil's place in Allenton. It was a little kid he just having fun, being a manager, and he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be involved in a match, and he hit this kid with a move that was so hard. The kid came backstage. He looked like he wanted to cry, but he didn't because he's 13. He didn't want to look like a wuss, and it's just liberties being taken, and I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So I said, hey, R.J. Daniels, like, we wanted to do something different. So we started throwing together some ideas. We ended up finding a good deal on some ring equipment. And the thing is with SSW is like the big moniker is, oh, that's a yarder fed because we didn't have a lot of people with us. But the big taboo question is that people don't understand how many people came to me asking to work for SSW, and when push came to shove, and we had our initial show that ended up being a disaster because we didn't have really a full roster.
Mm-hmm.
They no show. I had guys who mock us now and say about how terrible we were the ones that no showed us. So what were Dan and I supposed to do? We invested $3,000 in our equipment, and we had a ring and all that stuff, and we had guys willing to learn. Or should we just taken our ball and gone home? No, we persevered. Really the only person that stuck with us was Judge Jesse, who worked with us, helped some of the guys, and unfortunately, we weren't able to pay him because we weren't making any money. So unfortunately, eventually, we just kind of did our own thing, and a lot of guys blossomed into their own thing. Was it unorthodox? Yeah, wasn't ideal, but a lot of good came of it. And that was a really long-winded answer. So
Which is good. From what you was mentioning during that last story about like kids getting hurt and stuff like that, and you think that wasn't cool, because I do have a personal issue with somebody did that at a show this past summer. What do you think about what wrestlers take it to the extreme when it comes to like really like seriously hurting kids? And although they trying to act, but they seriously hurting kids. So what's your opinion about that?
perfect example is I'm going to use a name that is not very popular. Ken Cato. Now, I know he's not very well liked because he comes off as cocky and arrogant and whatnot. And okay, that's fine. But if this is a business built around self-promotion, cockiness, and arrogance. Now he has a lot to learn.
Right.
Not taking anything away from him. he's got talent, but he needs focus. And rather than beat the hell out of the kid,